Next time on Casino Royale with Cheese.
I remember the first time that I watched this movie, I was dating an old gal, and my dad had watched this actually, and he was
How
like,
old was she?
How old was she? She was,
You said old gal.
I know I did. She was at least like 12, but no. I'm
Oh,
just,
God, Shane.
just messing with you, internet, come on. We got Ming Lo, who plays the guy that like assigns him to, what company was it? Golf company, whenever he like arrives at Camp Pendleton. I just thought the name was funny because it kind of reminded me of like Ming Lo, Sweet Chariots, you know, that sort of thing.
Oh, you racist son of a bitch.
The only other one that I was thinking of was Chris Cooper. He plays the lieutenant colonel in the movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's great too. He's a great actor.
Do you know he's the same character that you see in American Beauty?
Oh, is he?
No, I made that up.
Oh, I was about to say this is like an American Beauty prequel. The only reason that I say that would be so crazy is because the guy that directed American Beauty, Sam Mendes, directed this as well.
Oh, maybe
So,
I'm onto something.
Yeah, it could be like a loop there you got going. Like he has his own like American Beauty expanded universe. He was way ahead of you, Marvel. I'm sorry.
And now, the conclusion.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
They're shooting at us!
We'll shoot back! Best job ever.
Best job ever!
I thank God for every fucking day that he gives me in the Corps.
When was the last time you felt good about anything?
By God, I actually pity those poor bastards we're going up against. By God, I do.
The thing that haunts me are all the guys that I couldn't save.
You can't handle the truth!
We into killing Nazi business. And cousin, businesses are booming.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
Excuse me, sir. Seeing as how the VP is such a VIP, shouldn't we keep the PC on the QT? Because if it leaks to the VC, you can end up in MIA and then we'd all be put on KP.
Welcome back to Casino Royale with Cheese. This is episode number 30 of the show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. My name is Shane. Today I'm joined by just a truly abhorrent individual. He's literally the worst. This is Mike.
Thanks for that, bro.
You're welcome. I got you.
Appreciate that so much.
Wow, I'm glad. Made your day.
So,
Yeah.
today,
Dirty 30.
episode 30,
Yeah.
we have the pleasure of recording with my actual brother-in-law, Jared.
Jared.
Hello, hello.
What's up, dude?
Good times.
Excited?
Yeah.
Jared's excitement level is like, for most people, is like a level 4.
Like when I'm excited, you can tell I'm excited.
Right.
Jared.
Keep it pretty straight. I like to keep people guessing.
That's true. This is going to be the final installment in Military Movie Month. Next week, we're back on the
It
regular
is.
deal.
I'm kind of sad about that.
Kind of sad, kind of happy.
We've watched some good movies.
We have watched some good movies. I can only deal with so much war, and so it'll be nice to kind of wet my palate with something else. But I'm also kind of sad because there's some great movies out there.
I have no idea what we're watching next week. I'm looking forward to you telling me what we're watching.
Really? You could guess from right now till this time next year, and you would still have no idea.
All right, well, I guess we'll get there at the end of this
We
one.
will.
What are we talking about this week?
Well, so we discussed talking about Good Morning Vietnam. I almost said Good Morning America. Yeah. And then we said that we are going to have Jared on. And it didn't look like really either one of those were going to pan out.
Right.
But they did. So there you go. So it's Good Morning Vietnam with old Robin Williams. What's your history with this movie there, Mike?
This came out, I think, around like 88. And I know my dad watched it several times. I'm sure I watched it with them. I remember Basically, you say "Good Morning Vietnam" to me. I remember Robin Williams being Robin Williams,
saying "Good Morning Vietnam," doing his thing.
Yeah, I didn't remember much of the movie other than that. I just remembered him being funny, and that was pretty much all I remembered.
Right.
Until I watched it again this week.
I watched it last night, and that's all I remember. So.
Yeah.
But that catchphrase is still something that's used.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Office used it.
Yeah, they did when he went to Dunder Mifflin the conference. Yeah. And was that when Dwight was doing all the Hitler stuff? Yeah. It was really funny.
Speak loud and pound the desk. And
there you go. Yeah, exactly. So there's no like specifics that you recall?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Jared, we talked about it last night, but do you want to tell the internet your history with this movie?
Last night, I'm sure I watched it when I was young, but I probably didn't care or pay attention.
Which is so confusing to me because he was the one who recommended the movie.
Right.
So I thought he was like this monster fan of Good Morning Vietnam, and he doesn't even remember ever watching it before.
No. He very well could have even recommended like Sergeant Bilko or something.
Oh, that would have been a good one.
I like that movie. It's like in the army now with Pauly Shore.
That would have been a good
and
one.
we just watched that actually a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That was a funny one.
Watch Stripes with Bill Murray.
That's on Netflix.
One. Yeah. That's a good one. Several of them. We could have done Major Payne.
Yeah. Oh, I love Major Payne. We should have watched it. I actually was going to say at one point during the week, and then I was like, no, we're doing
but you didn't.
Vietnam.
Ernest in the Army. That's one of them.
No, I'm not going to say that. No.
Any Ernest movie I saw in the theater, so I'm good on the Ernest movies.
Oh my God!
You got the whole like Ernest anthology.
I did it one
I
time.
avoid all the Ernest movies
Right.
like it was the plague.
No,
Everybody else is pumped about like Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. He's like,
He said
yo,
that
what
first.
Ernest shit's coming out?
Jim Varney was my Robin Williams.
I do like Jim Varney a lot. I'm not gonna lie about
That
that.
should tell the audience what kind of dude my brother-in-law really is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Jared, you like all those like Vampire Sucks?
Yeah,
and
parodies
all those,
are the best.
Oh man, I like parodies, certain ones,
Not
but
another teen
that's a
movie
path I
I've
can't
probably
go
seen
down.
100 times.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Ouch! Meet the Spartans and
That
stuff.
was an awesome one. That was a good one.
Man, let's change that subject.
Yeah, let's do that. I got a way to do that too.
Yeah.
By the way, so
Oh, real quick, much like my sexual history, I have no history with this movie at all. So this is my first time watching it.
you have no sexual history.
That's a joke.
You have 2 kids.
They're not mine.
Up until he's married.
Right.
No, them kids look too much like you to
That's true.
say they're not yours.
That's true.
During Jarheads, we talked about like the wall of shame.
Yeah.
And, like girls dumping dudes on deployments and
Yep.
everything like that. So the number one fan, Charlene, reached out.
Okay.
And she wanted to share a little story about her experience with this.
All right.
So she told me that she had a friend who was in the Navy, and that his longtime girlfriend broke up with him via letter in 2001. And she thought to herself, like, what a bitch, who does that?
Yeah.
And then she was in a class, and she met a girl whose husband was in Afghanistan. This was about 2008.
Okay.
And she was trying to divorce him, but she couldn't find him to serve him papers. And, let's see, what was she? Oh, yeah. And she was thinking, like, what the fuck? Like, who does this to people?
Yeah.
And then she didn't know that was like a thing. Like,
Dear
it
John
happened
letters.
so common.
Wait, that's what they're from. Dear John letters. That's from way back in.
Yeah, but the military gets them like extra.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
well, that's probably where it coined its phrase. Dear John letters is
Right.
way back in the day.
So she was pretty disturbed by the fact that like this girl was trying to divorce her husband while he was deployed to Afghanistan. So she decided to brainstorm with one of her friends, like, what's a good way to break up with the dude while he's deployed?
All right.
So this is what they came up with. First of all, you don't dump him while he's deployed.
That's the best route right there.
You play lovey face and pretend that everything is wonderful because he's at war.
Right. You're going to get the dude killed.
Right.
Yeah.
You lie, you send emails, you pretend. Then let him get home. Sleep a full night. Wake him up with a good blowy.
There you go.
Okay?
Yep.
Make his favorite breakfast, then sex him down all day long. Okay? Even do anal if he's into that.
Yep.
Anything he wants, just let him do it. Okay?
Right.
And then you let him sleep another full night. Or no, you make his favorite dinner, then you let him sleep a full night.
Right.
Then you wake him up the next morning, then you tell him that it's over.
Yeah, that would be harsh though, because he's going to bed that night going, dude, we are good.
Yeah,
She has been aching for some D this whole time.
I'd rather be dumped than
right, than her, because that 24 hours would seem really rough, knowing like on the other side of it, you know.
I'd rather take my frustrations out on a deployment than at home.
Yeah.
So I'm way different than you guys.
Well, Mike's just want to get it wet, you know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She could tell me while I'm on the deployment, like, hey, look, it's over, but this is the 24 hours you get to look forward to when we get home. And I'd be like, okay.
Cool. Well, that's fine, but you could also, you can line stuff up while you're there.
Mike's like, 11:53. We got 7 minutes to do it still.
I can get another one in, I'm positive.
You can line
especially
it up.
after you've been in the desert.
So I guess you guys aren't down with that?
I mean, that's better than getting divorce papers while you're deployed.
There's no good way to break up.
But I would think, like, after that, like, the second day back would be really shitty after the first day back was so awesome. Like, you reach this whole new high of, like, 100% now, and now you drop back down to, like, 0%, you know?
I'd be more pissed.
You guys are such bitches. So disappointed in my friend.
I'd rather just take my
I'm saying, Charlene, if you're gonna do it, that's probably the nicest way to do it. But I just think that like that second day would be really crap. So
that's like
because you would think you had the girl of your dreams, and you get your heart broken.
Yeah, like she's cooking my favorite food.
Everything's great.
She's dicking me down. She even let me do anal.
Yeah, like she never lets me do that. Like we turned the corner here, and then she's like, "No, we're done."
Because then you're probably on leave. You go home, and then you're away from all your buddies, and you're just sucking.
What if she lined up your next girls for you?
Like she's got her friends all
she's
like
got
ready.
like 4 eligible bachelorettes.
She's like, yo, Jared, I went to farmersonly.com.
Your idea of breaking it off and then saying, but you know, this is what we'll do. I'll do this for you. That would be all right, but I'd rather just have it broken off.
Yeah.
He's a big softie, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's gonna line up some other chick, okay, well, now we're talking.
I'm known for my compassion.
Right.
Let's talk about some numbers.
All right. Well, let's see here. I didn't get the international box office take on this.
I'm sure it went over well in Vietnam.
Yeah, I'm sure they loved it there.
They like beach bash bingo.
Beach
blanket bingo.
Yeah, blanket bingo. Yeah. Let's see here. I got some screenshots. So first off, let's go through a little rundown of the cast here. A lot of these are very Vietnamese sounding names, so I'm going to butcher the fuck out of them, but that's all right. We've got Robin Williams as Adrian Cronauer.
That doesn't sound very Vietnamese at all.
No, it's American sounding. That's the French side of the Vietnamese.
Okay.
We got Lazy Eye Forrest Whitaker. He plays Edward Garlick.
I don't think that's his official name.
That's what I'm renaming.
Okay.
He looks like he had a stroke, or like not in this, but if you watch like Rogue One, he's got that like lazy eye going, like he had a stroke or something, like he just hasn't got it looked at.
Okay.
We got the guy that plays Tuan, which is Tong Tan Tran. Say that 3 times fast. Chintara Sukapatana plays Trin, the little girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not girlfriend.
I don't even know if you ever hear
Love
her name
interest.
in the movie.
Right. He's what?
I don't know if you ever hear her name in the movie.
No, you know, I had to look it up. We were watching it last night. We got Bruno Kirby as Lieutenant Stephen Houck, and he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, awesome.
We've got Hello Legs, Robert Wool. Oh man, I hate that guy.
He was in Batman.
He was like Vicky Vale's like little buddy or whatever.
The other DJ.
Yeah,
He's in a million other movies.
Hello Legs.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah.
I've been reading your stuff. He's like, I've been reading yours too. You know, all that shit.
It's
Yeah,
a terrible line.
really
Batman.
dumb. Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff though.
He is. Still hate him. We got J.T. Walsh plays Sergeant Major Dickerson, and I'm convinced I've seen that dude somewhere, but I didn't look it up though. But I know where I've seen him from actually. He was in Sling Blade. He was like the pervert guy that was like trying to accuse Carl of being like a pedophile or whatever at the beginning of the movie. He was like in prison with him and stuff. Yeah, whatever. Noble Willingham plays General Taylor. I like that dude. And then there's a bunch of...
His name is Noble?
Yeah, Noble.
I like that.
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard that. Let's see. There's a couple little bit parts, but nobody that you'd be familiar with. Budget for this movie: 13 million United States dollars.
Damn, they made it for nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
How do you get Robin Williams for less than 13 million? You do it in
That's what I'm
1988.
In
That's how you do
'88,
it.
yeah,
Right.
that seems like a pretty big production for '80s.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you think about it though, and 10 years before, Star Wars was made on a budget of 10 million. So I don't even know like how that really comes out in the wash, but it's whatever. It was released officially December 25th, so Christmas. That's a weird Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Of 1987. But that was just a limited release. It didn't actually reach a wide release until January 15th of the following year.
2 weeks later.
Yeah. It was directed by Barry Levinson, and he's known for directing certain things such as like Wag the Dog.
Okay.
I really like that movie. He did. It's Dustin Hoffman.
Jared's over here just shaking his head.
I haven't watched that one.
He did the movie Bandits with Bruce Willis and what's his puss? Sling Blade.
Billy Bob
Billy
Thornton.
Yeah,
Bob?
Billy Bob. Yeah. He's done a bunch of little bits. To me, it seems like he is notorious though for like, because he's done a bunch of stuff with like Robin Williams too. Later on, like Man of the Year, where he's like running for president and shit.
Uh-huh.
But he does a lot of like, he'll have like a general idea for a script and then just like turn the actors loose and kind of like have them do a lot of improvisation stuff.
That was showcased in this one.
Yeah, very much so.
How would you script that?
Yeah.
Scripting Robin Williams
I
is a
don't know if you
mistake.
can script Robin
Yeah.
Williams.
But all in all, do you have any guesses as to how it did stateside, money-wise?
Was it ever number one?
It was number one for several weeks.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
72 million. What about you, Jerry? How much you think it made?
That's an awful lot for the '80s. I think when I looked.
Oh, you looked? That's
no,
cheating.
No, whenever Shane gave me the option to pick a few movies, he just said pick something over 20 years old. And that's when I went through looking at the year I graduated, 97, and then 30 years, which would have been 88. And this one was on, I want to say 5 or 6 weeks, it was number one.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, but it was number one a lot longer than I would have figured. But
It definitely struck a chord, though, with a lot of
well, that's
audience.
probably a lot of Vietnam vets were still,
right.
You know, not so old, and it probably struck a chord. You know,
Right.
they probably remember listening to somebody like that.
Well, and Robin Williams was kind of like hitting his peak around this time, too.
So how much did it make?
How much do you
I'm
think?
going to guess probably 55.
55 million and 72 million.
Well, I got news for you. If you add your two numbers together, you'd come pretty close. It did 123,922,000 and some change.
Well, all that matters is I was
And
closer and I won.
Right. Exactly. Fine. So, obviously, Jared was he had a lot right on that.
My inflation calculation isn't what it should be, or deflation from that.
For those who don't know, Jared and I are married to sisters.
Yes.
We do the exact same job in the Army, although right now we're doing very different versions of that job, but we're both forward observers in the United States Army. We've been stationed either with each other or near each other my entire career.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always a little bit competitive.
Couple deployments together.
We drove the same truck for a while. We had the same dog for a while.
None of it was planned or competitive. It just worked out that way.
It just happened.
Yeah. I drive an Equinox. That's
Now I drive.
not nearly as cool
Now
as
I drive
you.
a Kia.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's a cool Kia that
It's not bad.
You got
good,
that
good gas mileage.
that V8.
It's paid off. It's paid off.
Yeah, that's it, man. What do you all say we talk about Good Morning Vietnam?
I think that's why we're here.
All right. Well, the movie starts with a really awesome radio broadcast.
You can say awesome if you want to.
I say it sarcastically.
Picture me doing a show all the time, and that's about what it was like.
God.
This morning we're joined here to talk about softball,
Yeah.
books, Christmas cards, and missing luggage.
Missing
Yeah.
duffel bags.
Yeah.
The guy's talking about Like, if you report your duffel bag is missing, don't describe it since they all look the same.
No, don't describe it as all duffels look the same.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play the absolute most boring music.
Yeah,
you can think
really
of.
bad. Think of like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type shit, you know. We see where there's a plane that's landing in Saigon, 1965.
Yep.
And all these dudes come off of this airplane, looks like a 737 or something, and they're all in military garb. Last one is not, though. He's wearing his Air Force little, I don't even know what those are.
Garrison. Oh, no, that's not a Garrison cap.
What are they
called?
I know the politically incorrect name for it.
Yeah.
Can we say it on the thing?
No.
Okay. I just called it taco shell.
It's a pretty frowned
Yeah, let's
upon
go with
word.
taco shell.
There you go.
That's much safer.
Yeah, he's wearing a stupid hat, but like none of his other clothes line up with that at all. He's wearing t-shirts and
Like
whatever.
a Hawaiian type.
Yeah, like
It's
he's-
Greek.
Is it Greek?
Yeah, he just flew in from Greece.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys not pick up on that?
I thought it
No.
was Crete.
He only said it like
I
5
thought
times.
I thought he said Crete.
He was in Crete, Greece.
Okay.
Crete is in Greece.
All right. Well, I got a geography lesson.
The only thing is I have a feeling there's some shit that I didn't pick up on just because, like Mike was saying, like he only says it 5 times. He says a lot of shit in this movie, so you gotta be like really like honed in on this dude if you're gonna pick up on everything.
You couldn't write fast enough.
Oh no, dude! I feel bad for whoever had to like do like the subtitles and like the Amazon version.
So the guy getting off the plane is Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
Adrian Cronauer, AC. we'll
yeah,
call him.
he's Adrian Cronauer in the movie, but it's Robin Williams.
Air
And, like,
Force guy.
he's
I wouldn't have guessed.
super
he
young
would.
compared to what we grew up watching him as.
Ish. Yeah, I mean he's no Mrs. Doubtfire.
Or yeah, and he's older than Mark and Mindy, but you know he's not older. And he's picked up by a really young Forrest Whitaker.
Really young.
Yeah,
It's pretty jarring actually.
Forrest Whitaker in this movie goes by Garlic. That's his name.
Edward Garlic, yeah.
And in their first meeting, the Cronauer tells him he needs to get a new name because his name is Garlic.
Right. AC's Airman First Class, so he's pretty low on the totem.
He's like an E2.
Yeah.
So is Garlic.
Yeah, they're the same rank.
Yeah.
Garlic keeps calling him sir.
The whole movie.
The whole movie, yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't call him Lieutenant Sir. They call him
Right, yeah. And he keeps calling the Sergeant Major sir, which is a running thing that I love because it will chew your ass out.
Yeah.
Um,
So Garlic picks him Cronauer up and takes him to base. On the way, there's a funny little thing about dragon ladies.
yeah.
And-
Oh, the
Racist.
Yeah.
it's pretty.
Well, there's a lot of that in this movie.
There
Yeah.
is. Probably more so than Full Metal Jacket, I think, actually.
Well, they only offend one race in this movie.
Right,
In Full
yeah.
Metal Jacket, they offended all
It's
of
kind
them.
of equal opportunity, yeah. Anyway, yeah, he keeps seeing there'll be like a Vietnamese woman that's wearing the little pointy
Traditional
hat.
garb, yeah.
Yeah, and like the white over sheet looking deal. I
Yeah.
don't even know what they call it, but he like see her when they're driving by. He's like, "Oh, stop! I want to talk to her." And he's like, "We can't stop," you know, whatever. And like they'll keep driving, and he like sees another woman that's wearing the exact same thing. He's like, "Oh, there she is again," you know, and like
She's so
like,
fast.
Yeah,
She's
she
fast,
outran the
yeah.
Jeep. Yeah.
Pick up the pace. I want to check her stamina.
Right. And so, anyway, we see where there's this dude, Sergeant Major Dickerson, and
Good name, by the way.
yeah, he is Dickerson, dude.
Yeah.
And he's talking to General Taylor because Sergeant Major Dickerson doesn't want a new DJ. He thinks that their DJs are fine. They don't make any waves or anything like that. I mean, they're boring, but who gives a fuck, you know? They do what they're told, basically. But General Taylor, on the other hand, thinks that this dude's hilarious. He saw him at some...
He heard him in Greece.
That's what it was, yeah. So once again, I didn't pick up on the Grease thing, but yeah. And so General's like, no, we're keeping this dude. He's awesome. That's about the time that Garlic and freaking AC show up at the military installation. And he talks to Lieutenant Hawk, or Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's sitting there, he's like, hey, I'm a funny guy, you know? I tell jokes, you know? We should get together and tell jokes together and whatnot.
And he wants salutes.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Indoors,
I thought
yeah.
that was odd too. I guess they salute
is.
everybody everywhere.
But nobody's wearing a hat or anything.
Except for Ron Williams, he's wearing
Right.
his indoors.
Right.
Cronauer, I should say.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make it 10 steps with that hat on.
So we can just go ahead and address it now.
Right.
Because it's a occurring thing throughout the film. Like, they salute indoors, they wear their hats in improper places. Like, they didn't have a military guy on set.
No.
And if they did, he wasn't earning his paycheck.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad.
It was actually so bad that I was surprised whenever they actually got all the ranks right that I noticed, at least in the movie.
The ranks are good.
Yeah.
But, like, everybody... So, there's an engineer who works at the radio station.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be there.
No.
The sergeant major and the general are both infantry cats.
Yeah.
The sergeant major wouldn't be running a radio station.
Negative. Why the general? Well, I guess maybe if that's the
Well,
base.
generals can roll commands all over the place,
Yeah.
but the enlisted dudes don't roll like that.
No.
They kind of explained why he was there. He had seen some action, wounded, and all that stuff, and they kind of put him in that assignment to get him calmed down a little bit, but it didn't help.
Right. But yeah, there's a lot of weird shit going on. But that's not really the focus of the movie either. So.
No.
Nope.
I mean, take it for what it is.
Other than he's just an asshole through the movie. That's
Right.
about the only reoccurring.
Who, Dickerson?
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, he starts talking shit right off the bat to AC about his like attire. He thinks that he looks stupid because
Well, he's not wearing a uniform.
Right.
Yeah.
He's wearing his hat, but it even looks fucked up to me.
It's pretty funny when he says, like, oh, you're airman, the hat gave it away. Because that's all he's got on that's military.
Right.
It's the only thing that could have gave it away.
Right. I think it's interesting. The only branch I don't think... Well, we didn't talk about Coast Guard, but you can watch Baywatch and see Coast Guard stuff.
What was that movie, The Guardian?
Yeah. It was. Where
With
they're
your boy,
saving people.
Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah. But aside from that, the Navy's the only branch we haven't talked about in this whole series. So, you know, I guess you can blame that on me because I picked Jarhead.
Does this count as an Air Force movie?
It has Air Force in it.
It has an Air Force guy.
Right.
The main character is Air Force.
But the rest of everybody around him is Army.
Well, it was confusing because the first radio broadcast, the other guy that you said you didn't like, the other DJ, is kind of confusing.
Robert Wool. Hello, legs.
He had the same uniform on that Robin Williams
He did.
had on. And then later in the movie, he has an Army uniform.
Well, they're not wearing uniforms in the beginning.
No,
they're wearing
wearing their stupid white shirts.
They're
Like
like
white
unit
shirt.
shirts.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like
maybe.
their broadcasting.
But it's like a
shirts.
button up though.
Yeah, it's a button-up shirt. It had their like
But you see a couple
radio
other
station like embroidered on it.
Air Force
Yeah.
guys in it throughout that are wearing that. But then he's got his Army garb on. But then he eventually went to OD Greens and he wore a couple
Yeah.
different uniforms.
He got it together later on in the movie. But anyway, Sergeant Major Dickerson basically tells Cronauer, he's like, just stay out of my way. He goes, I know that you like to fuck around and stuff. He goes, and I can make this really pleasant for you, or I can make it really shitty. He's like, just lay low, do your thing you're supposed to do, and we'll be good, you know. They every so often they'll have a little ticker that kind of gives like current events, like a little news feed, and it'll be like a typewriter type up. And there's a deal where it basically says they're upping the troops from 75,000 to 125,000 in Vietnam. So 1965, Vietnam was a thing, but it hadn't really kicked off to the same scope that it later would, and so they're just kind of ratcheting up the numbers at this point.
Well, it was police action
Right.
at this time.
A lot of the information was still being suppressed as
Yeah.
far as getting out what was really going on.
So there's that. Then we meet Marty Lee Drywitz, I'm just going to call him Robert Wool. But he's a staff sergeant that's also on the radio. And it is what it is. I find him really annoying, so we won't elaborate too much.
I like him. I think he's good.
He's good in this.
He's good in the bit parts he plays in movies.
He's a good supporting actor in this movie.
He's good.
It's alright. Just when I see him, all I think of is Batman. So I hated him in that movie.
I think of him like I think of, I can't think of the guy's name, but he plays in The Office and a million other movies. Packard.
Oh, Todd Pecker?
Oh, yeah, I can't think of that dude's
Todd
name.
F. Pecker? What was that guy's name, that goofy
What
dude?
is his name?
I don't know.
But he plays in a million movies. He's
Yeah, he
always
does.
supporting.
He's been in, like
super annoying, but
Anchorman
at the
and
same
all that
time,
shit. Yeah,
funny.
He's talking about how he made out with a girl at Kmart and shit.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get the first transmission. Tell us about it, Jared.
Well, he almost didn't make it because he didn't like to get up early, and he had the early show.
Yeah.
So Garlic has to wake him up, and he goes in there and he's looking pretty sleepy-eyed, and I expected him to sound like I sound,
like
pretty
crap.
boring, pretty monotone, and pretty non-emotional. But as soon as that on-air button flipped, the switch flipped, and then you get your classic Robin Williams type character.
Right. Good morning, Vietnam!
Yeah, and one of the iconic sayings is made, probably everybody in the armed services has said it at one point or another.
Right.
Just goofing around.
Yeah. I want to say it again right now.
Yeah, used in tons of movies, tons of TV shows. It's used a lot as a greeting, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it's loud, it's easy, and it's
catchy as fuck.
famous. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And you can put anything in there. Good morning, whatever.
Yeah.
But so he just flipped the switch when the on-air button came on, and you get the voices, you get
the impressions. And the weird antics.
And it's so fast. The way he talks and delivers is so quick and so fast that my brain almost doesn't process.
You don't have time to stop and think about what he just said.
If you don't catch his reference right away, there's no time to go back and think about it because he's
already on to the next one.
Yeah. So there's several that probably flew right by me. Probably several of them that I didn't catch or didn't.
There's a lot of Gomer Pyle humor. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of fucking humor that's
at that time had been pop culture type references. Yeah. For that time period,
right.
A lot of Nixon,
Clarence.
Right. There's the artillery guy that just wants him to play loud music because he can't hear shit.
And I can relate to that because I can't hear. I'm an artillery guy. I'm a deaf artillery guy, and I can't hear.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help me catching stuff as quick as I should.
That's true too.
A lot of times because either I don't hear it or I only hear part of it, and so I just ignore
I describe it as a comedic rant.
It really is just a showcase of him just going off.
And if you, so Shane and I take notes when we watch these movies, and I didn't take a single note when he was in his rants. Like I found myself just like almost hypnotized by him. Like this is crazy.
Yeah. I just wrote first transmission is all I wrote.
You can't take notes. You can't process it. I couldn't write that fast.
Hell no.
Well, I don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to look away.
It's like watching Beethoven play the piano.
Yeah, it's so good.
It made me think of his voiceover in Aladdin.
Of course.
Yeah.
All that.
It's 100% why he's the genie in Aladdin.
So quick and so fast. And
there's even a couple times where he says the same things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Very similar to. I think it's interesting because Robin Williams, he's a guy that did a lot for like the USO, like going over and with the troops and whatnot. And I think it's interesting too, though, because I've listened in interviews before, and apparently Robin Williams, when he was a little kid, he was like a chubby kid, and so like recess, nobody would like want to talk to him and stuff, and so he'd just like walk around and like talk to himself, and he said that's how he got so good at impressions, and I was like, that's really kind of depressing.
Comedy became his shield, his way to
pretty much
interact,
and he had a lot of time to perfect it apparently when he was a kid, so kind of crazy to think about, especially considering what's happened, since then. So, yeah.
And when the first transmission where he's on his first rant, like I got really sad too. Mm-hmm. Because of recent events, he's not here anymore.
He's like a national treasure.
Yeah, and I miss him already.
But there's not another one. There's not somebody that can do really even close to what he what he was able to do.
Yeah, he's like a one flash in the pan sort of deal.
Yeah, there's several actors that are interchangeable that can, but he's one that if you wanted to remake that movie, you couldn't.
No, I agree.
There's not an actor that you can.
It would just be a cheap imitation.
Right. And me and Mike were talking about how this movie really is like a showcase for him. Like if you went and got if you're like, oh, we're doing Good Morning Vietnam and we're gonna get Michael Keaton. No, it's not ever gonna work.
Or even like Adam Sandler.
No, it still wouldn't be.
Yeah,
it still wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be the same.
Get Jonah Hill, no, still unsuccessful. Yeah, it's just unmatchable. You got a funny dude up there, but it's not gonna be the same.
I can't think of anybody that can do as many voices as he can.
Oh yeah,
that's big and famous. That can
and
change
that
so quick and
rapid
so
fire,
fast.
yeah, to go from one voice to completely changing, switching it up, just on the fly in a matter of seconds,
So I guess we really don't have to talk about a lot of details in this movie. Because
Right.
pretty much like it's Robin Williams doing his thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll discuss story, but a lot of it is just him doing his deal.
There isn't to me, there wasn't a whole bunch of story. I mean, other than he taught a little bit, and I mean, you get into some of it, but other than it showing how news was suppressed and
Right.
how he had to deal with that, and probably a lot of the radio AFN dudes probably had to a lot of times over there, but it didn't seem like there was a huge story to it other than it's just Robin Williams being Robin Williams.
It's funny because of including this in the two movies before. There's been a lot of censorship in these military movies, Mike.
Yeah.
Like in Full Metal Jacket, they're telling him what he couldn't write in the newspaper. In Jarhead, they're telling him what he couldn't say to the news crews. And then there's this where they're telling him don't say that on the radio. Shit like that. I find it interesting.
It's all media related.
Yeah, exactly.
Public relations.
The military only wants to put out what it wants to put out.
Gotta look good.
It's still like that.
Only good stories.
Right. You want to keep everybody pumped up. You want to keep the guys at home on your side, and there's all that stuff.
But all of the soldiers and the Marines listening to Cronauer, I love his show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're having they show throughout, and every time he does one of his rants, they kind of go through a little montage of what's going on in Vietnam, and you can see all the Marines, all the soldiers that are listening to his show are loving it.
Yeah. They're cracking up. It shows them on gunboats, and they're just chilling and laughing. And some you didn't get at the beginning when you were listening to, Captain Funeral Dirge go on about duffel bags.
Well, he's playing good music and he's keeping them.
Yeah.
He's entertaining.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I've been overseas and had AFN, Armed Forces Network, and that was pretty much the main TV show, and it's still pretty boring.
Yeah.
Other than some regular shows they put on, but I can't imagine listening to a radio show in Iraq or Afghanistan when we were there.
No. The only stuff I ever watched is if there was a big UFC event or the football game.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I didn't really watch
anything. As far as just listening to radio broadcasts, but that's where we've come so far from. Radio used to be the main source. Now we just get online at the internet cafe and you can get all your news that you want.
I've never been stationed anywhere where we had a radio station.
No. In Korea there was one, and there was, I don't know if there was, I'm sure there probably was in Iraq or Afghanistan, probably on.
I'm sure on CAF and BAF.
Yeah, the big bases.
And what's the big one in Iraq?
The Green Zone and.
Yeah, Green Zone, and then, what's the name of that place? Where you flew in and out of?
Al-Assad, Kuwait. But it just, that was the way that stuff was put out then, and especially in those kind of situations, entertainment can make the difference between, it can make your day.
It's a big morale booster.
Yeah, it can make your day.
Right.
Anything.
Did you notice that the entire town listens to him?
Yeah.
Even the Vietnamese locals?
All that shit.
There's a scene where they're going through a traffic circle, and you can hear his voice over the speaker of every vehicle in the traffic circle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So everybody's listening to him.
Right.
The guy you're talking about, by the way, with the Christmas cards and duffel bags. Dan the Man Levitan.
Oh, wow. He's super, he's the man. The man that puts you to sleep.
Lieutenant Hawk, by the way, is not a fan.
He's not impressed at all.
His comedic style didn't line up with Robin Williams.
Lieutenant Hawk thinks he's hilarious, by the way.
And he is in a
Reader's Digest is going to publish 2 of his jokes.
And he is hilarious in a way, but it's not in the way that he wants to be funny.
Yeah. He's funny when you're laughing at him, not with him.
Yeah. He makes himself an easy target.
His lack of humor makes him
And we
funny.
all know somebody like that.
Right.
Hell,
Mike.
I'm probably that guy half the time.
I'm the other one came unscathed out of that whole thing.
The difference is he cared. I don't.
Oh shit, that's funny. But so what is it here? AC's been playing unauthorized music. They have a little playlist that they don't want them to play a lot of current shit like the Beach Boys because they're so controversial.
And racy.
Yeah. Oh man,
James Brown.
Yeah, no,
all
he's
that
out.
stuff.
Yeah, I feel good. No, nobody needs to hear that.
Nothing that would boost morale.
Right. Yeah.
Wants to be
No,
heard.
just play the slow shit. Everybody likes that.
Yeah. Big band.
Right. Let's see. He's. I wrote down Little Boy Wiener because it like shows him like driving through town or whatever.
Yeah.
And
there's
like,
naked kids all throughout that. There's several scenes of just. You don't see stuff like that nowadays.
So why would you write down Little Boy Wiener?
Just because it made me feel really like whenever I saw it, I was like, "What the?" fuck?
And I noticed as soon as that scene came on, I seen Shane start writing, and I was like, "He's gonna reference this for sure," because it's just something you don't see.
Weird.
And
they sneak Little Boy Wiener in there on the fly,
and it wasn't even like a little flash. I mean, they spent a good 15, 20 seconds of three little boys playing naked in the water.
It was weird. It just caught me off guard.
It did me too. Yeah, I was kind of like,
and I have a little boy. I've seen his wiener like 3 times today.
They're just little boys, guys.
I know,
okay.
I'm not saying it's not. I got
you
3
just
boys.
don't see that in movies at all.
But
like
you
now,
don't.
You know?
It's so uncommon nowadays that you just don't see stuff like that because everybody gets, hell, that would have never even got shot today because people are like, oh no, you can't do that.
It would not have been filmed today.
No,
that's
no,
for sure.
no.
But
it'd be considered child pornography.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And this, and you're just kind of like, whoa, okay. And this was in the '80s. It's really it is a while ago,
30
but
years
really
ago.
not too long ago in the big scheme of things. It's
30 years.
and just to see how
I was 9.
much has changed. In pictures today compared to what they filmed in, it was just okay, cool. That's the way it was there, so that's the way they presented
Little
it.
boys got wieners, so let's put it on film.
That's the way they presented it.
What's weird though, when I think about it, is if you go back, apparently, like at the time, it was a major controversy with like Gone with the Wind, where he's like, "Charlotte, I don't give a damn," and all that other stuff, and then it's almost like Hollywood would push the envelope, and like become like a more progressive deal, and they would have more violence and more like sexual stuff and profanity and stuff like that. And then now it's kind of like we've reclused ourselves, like degressed, I guess, a little bit. Like, oh no, we can't show that.
Because you got to make something everybody likes without offending anybody.
That's it.
Which is dumb.
Well, you can have a movie series about a guy who beats his chick as long as he's rich and hot.
That is true. It's funny because I've always said if that movie was about a redneck in a trailer, everybody'd be like, "This is sick,"
You're talking about 50 Shades?
50 Shades, yeah.
If it was a redneck in a trailer, it'd be spousal abuse.
Or he just beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Like that.
Why is she letting him do that? Yeah. Instead, it's a rich dude, so it's cool,
A super rich guy.
Right.
With a 6-pack.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I wrote down Lieutenant Hawk chews that ass. He just wants him. He doesn't want him to talk about the weather, about how hot it is. I guess he doesn't want the.
You can't say it's always the same.
It was
2
degrees cooler today than yesterday.
Oh man! And then he's pissed off again about reprogramming, the music and whatnot. And then they say that Richard Nixon will be there on Friday.
The former VP.
Yeah, there's something to look forward to. Who is he a VP for?
He was a VP for JFK, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody Google that real quick.
Yeah, we can. Gosh.
Yeah, I had to bring it out, didn't I?
We're so dumb.
Well, they go through that. I'm gonna say that apparently they're wondering who's gonna show up in Vietnam in November to do like a live show, and they're wanting to see about getting Bob Hope, but apparently Bob Hope only does war, and so
no, JFK beat Nixon.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know, because it was Johnson was JFK's his VP, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Anyway, they said that Bob Hope, he only does wars. He wouldn't be interested in doing like a little overseas policing, and so they don't think that they're gonna be able to get Bob Hope. I don't think they ever even.
Oh man, how did I not remember that? Spiro Agnew and Gerald Ford.
Gerald Ford.
Because on Futurama, remember Agnew?
Oh yeah.
He's
you're
always
right.
got Agnew with
Right.
him.
See, I knew that Ford was took over after
He resigned.
Nixon resigned. Yeah, but I didn't remember anything about Spiro Agnew. Agnew.
Yeah, that's.
Any
Futurama fans will know that.
Yeah, all 3 of you. that show got canceled. Thanks a lot.
But it got brought back though, because that's how much people wanted it.
It had a good run, I guess.
My son still watches it. He's 11. He loves that show.
It's great. I'll watch it now. Did they ever resolve the thing with who was gonna show up to perform in like November or whatever?
No,
I don't think they ever did.
they were throwing names out there, but this was before it was a huge conflict, and then the bigger names didn't want to. You know, Bob Hope wanted a bigger crowd, so he's like, "Oh, let's escalate the war."
Right. Yeah.
We can't
we're not gonna
escalate
get
it
Bob
just
Hope unless
for.
the war escalates.
He doesn't do conflicts.
Yeah.
Or doesn't do police actions.
Right.
He does. Yeah. So.
And so he talks about. I just wrote down acronym speech.
Yeah.
Because there's the whole thing about how he talks about the VP being a VIP and all the.
Can't let that
he
get out
becomes
to
a
the
POW.
VC.
Yeah.
No, you can't let it get out to the VC, or he might become MIA, and then we'll all be doing KP.
Right. Yeah. That's a very. I don't think he nailed them all, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, he said a lot more than me.
Yeah. But it was really funny though.
Because we use a lot of fucking acronyms.
Right. And of course, Lieutenant Houck is sitting there staring at him like, who the fuck is this guy? You know? Not impressed at all. Garlic shows Cronauer at the bar.
We meet Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy Wah, is it?
Something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because they're like, don't say I said anything, but I think he's a little light in the loafers. I was like, I don't think you can say that now.
I don't
Light
think
in the loafers?
I don't think he cared.
It's a gay joke.
Yeah, I get what it was.
Yeah. But I just don't think that something like that would be, you know, there'd be people that would be offended by that.
Jimmy seemed pretty loud and proud about it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He was cool with
Jimmy was not one to be ashamed.
it. No, I like Jimmy actually.
I do too.
Pretty legit.
Gives him some formaldehyde beer.
He orders a beer and he sees like, what the fuck? Like he's coughing, choking. He's like, yo, we put formaldehyde in it.
For flavor.
So if you die, you're half preserved.
Yeah.
You made something like that. You're already half preserved.
They said if you get sick and go to the hospital, you come back, I'll give you free salad.
I like it. That's funny. So all of a sudden, Cronauer sees a little Vietnamese girl. She's like, oh, there she is again.
A young Vietnamese woman.
Right. But she's wearing the same pointy hat with the white attire.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, there she is again. So he chases after her, tries to talk to her. I didn't pick up on what she said when he talked to her. It was very broken English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she said something like, me no date. Like, she's not that kind of girl, basically.
Right. Yeah.
She's not a streetwalker.
No. And so she hops in the little, we'll say a gondola, like a motorized gondola cab, basically.
Tuk-tuk.
A tuk-tuk. Whatever that
Is
is.
they call them Korea?
No, but I'm pretty sure it's their little motorized cart or the little bicycle that you pedal. I think they're called tuk-tuks. I didn't see tons of them in Korea.
I think Jared's making it up.
No.
Just messing. He's good at Googling.
Might be the one thing I know.
This is too funny. Anyway, while you look that up, Adrian Cronauer decides that he's going to chase after her. And so he buys a couple bicycles. They don't have rubber on the tires.
Well, no, his does.
Oh, yeah.
Garlic's doesn't. He doesn't have tires at all. He's riding a bike on
Just
the
on the rim.
rims.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Of course, he's struggling.
It's really funny. Like, he keeps falling.
Yeah.
And getting back up and keep pedaling.
Yeah. And of course, he's like wobbling whenever he can, you know, get the thing going, you know. It's pretty funny.
He almost dies.
Yeah.
He almost gets hit by a semi-truck.
And so basically,
He followed her to an English class.
yeah, he falls into the English class. He actually pays a staff sergeant there so that he can teach the class. And basically use that as a way to like hit on this girl, you know. And whenever the class is released, he goes to try to talk to her, and then
I love the classroom moments.
They're pretty great.
They're some of my favorite parts of this movie, man. Like, cause the Vietnamese nationals that are in the classroom,
right?
They're fucking hilarious. They're so funny.
I like the old lady. She
Yeah.
cracks me up the most, I think.
I like the old guy.
Yeah, the one that sat
The
up
old
front.
dude, yeah. I like the old dude that sits in the front later on when he's like, what if she's stabbing you? And he's like, I wait to die.
Yeah. I'm waiting to die.
It's actually called a rickshaw, but it's kind of like tuk-tuk. The tuk-tuk pictures showed it's got both rickshaws and tuk-tuks kind of under the same thing, but it's It's looks like the tuk-tuk had the driver or bicycle part in the front, where the rickshaws have it reversed, kind of, where the motor's in the back and the car's up front. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I always thought rickshaws were like man-powered.
Some of them are. Most of them are. But there's bicycle-powered ones. And
when I was in Indonesia, it was man-powered.
Yeah.
Like a dude
pick that bitch up and start taking off.
Holding 2 poles.
It's a long-ass day right there.
It's like the thing. I'm a big How I Met Your Mother fan, and I've seen that 100 million times. But that's what Barney jumped in.
Oh, yeah.
To get to when they were doing that race across town.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up driving it because the guy wasn't.
Yeah, you're gonna win no race with that dude. Yeah.
I'm a sitcom fan. I like a lot of dumb sitcoms.
When he's not watching parody films, it's How I Met Your Mother.
Pretty much. I've seen that a million times.
That's a good show, man. I'm not gonna lie about that. So all of a sudden, class lets out, and AC decides he's gonna go try to talk to this girl. And this guy's like, hey, you can't date her. And he's like, how do you know? He's like, because I'm her brother. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he blows him off until he finds out it's his brother. And then he's like,
oh,
okay.
You can hang out. Yeah.
And you'll be buddies.
Right. And so they decide that they're going to go eat lunch together, the brother and Kronauer. And he gives him some kind of soup that has a bunch of weirdo looking shit in it.
Fish balls.
Fish parts, yeah, eyeballs.
And he takes a bite of it after some convincing. It's way too spicy. Like the old lady's laughing at him and stuff, choking on it.
Which is relatable because, you know, even being around some people downrange, you know, you've been around them. The spices are different in Thailand and Afghanistan, and they think it's funny to have us eat their food, and it burns your mouth off.
Hating life.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't really burn my mouth off, but when I shit later, boy, I really remember those spices.
Right.
The hottest thing I ever
your butt starts tasting it.
Even attempted to eat was in Thailand, and it was just ridiculously. They just eating it like it's cereal, but it was so hot. I ate one bite and I didn't eat anymore.
Wow.
You guys have discussed. I need to go get some water.
Talk amongst yourselves. Anyway, so we see he winds up taking AC takes the brother to Jimmy's bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's working hard to become friends with this
this
guy so he can get introduced to his sister.
Yeah.
He's working pretty hard, and he's trying to prove that he's not just chasing after a piece of tail.
Some random dude, yeah. Right. We find out that the brother, his name is Tuan, and because he introduces himself, and of course all of AC's like radio station buddies are in there drinking and stuff, and so they sit down together. And that's whenever Garlic sees these two, I assume they're prostitutes.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they were.
And Garlic's like, oh, I can never talk to a girl like that. Romulan's like, hey, you two, come over here, talk to my boy.
But he flashes a lot of cash to him.
Yeah.
And that pulls them away from the Joes, soldiers that they're already engaged with.
Mm-hmm. And of course, one of them's a sergeant, one's a specialist. The two guys are talking.
And they take a little bit of offense to them losing their women.
Yeah. They come over and they tell him that Tuan has no place in it's a military bar, and they don't want him in there drinking with them. Mm-hmm. And that's whenever Kronauer's like, hey, I brought him in here, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it turns into a physical altercation. Kronauer beats the specialist's ass, and then the sergeant whoops his ass.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did about the only thing he could do to a dude that was quite a bit bigger and headbutts him in the face. And of course, his buddy's got his back, so he takes a good ass whooping.
That's what they used to say in like their safety briefs is if you end up going to jail, establish dominance quickly.
I think that's not just that's probably anywhere.
Yeah.
Any good advice anywhere.
Right.
But his radio buddies eventually have his back too, and it's a nice brawl.
Right.
Oh, we're talking about the bar fight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. And then the Sergeant Major Dickerson doesn't care for the bar brawl. He's like, you've been in Saigon for 24 hours and you're getting in fights. That's bullshit.
But he already knew he was on any excuse he could find from him from
Right.
the initial meeting that he's going to use against him.
If it was one of the Sergeant Major's boy, he'd have chewed his ass out, but he just doesn't like Cronauer. I wrote down here because we're getting ready for another transmission on the radio. But there's this one staff sergeant, he's a rather portly fellow, and he's got a mustache. And the only reason that I paid notice of that was, do you remember in Terminator 2, the security guard that worked in the prison where Sarah Connor was being held at?
No.
Oh, okay.
Does that fucking thing up? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the editors, the guys who edited?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was two of them, the E5 and the E6.
Yeah.
The sergeant,
Yeah, those are
staff
the
sergeant.
twins?
And they looked exactly alike.
So that's the deal, is that security guard that worked in the prison in Sarah Connor's, or the insane asylum, wherever she was at, that's the same dude that was...
Yeah, because T2 turned into the twin copy.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
T1000,
People said the twins, I would be like, yeah, I know those weird dudes you're talking about. The staff sergeant with the mustache.
And he like gets stabbed through the eye with his like, pointer finger, literally. But it was pretty cool. I've never seen that dude in anything else, so I was like, oh wait, mustache, big dude.
He's probably in a lot of stuff too. It's just
little bit parts.
Yeah. He's probably one of those hardworking, low-paid in a million different.
They're twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only get hired if they need a pair of identical twins.
I mean, and even though Robin Williams didn't say nothing about it in the movie or Cronauer, he noticed it.
Oh yeah.
When he saw, he's like, double take and then off to do his.
And that's. I think you even commented. You're like, those guys look a lot alike.
No, just alike.
Oh man, that's funny. On the news ticker, apparently 2 Marines have been court-martialed for trying to steal an airplane
to raid a town.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
There's a lot of
that's pretty hardcore.
Throughout the film, they sneak a lot of like pretty hardcore little stories in there on the ticker.
Right.
But that he's not allowed to read. Those 2 twins are the ones who edit actually all of those.
Yeah.
Say you can read this, you can't read that. But the movie sneaks in on some political things.
It does.
Through that, no one ever says a word, but you just see it type it up real quick. You're like, oh, that's crazy.
It does it more overtly in one particular part of the movie that's coming up here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see some pretty messed up stuff on the ticker when it goes through. Jared's doing acrobatics over here.
What do you got going on?
I don't know.
Yoga.
It's bothering me.
That's what he does his exercise, I guess. So, Lieutenant Hawk, I wrote down, gets pissed about profane weather report. Says the weather's shitty.
He pretty much stays aggravated the whole movie.
Yeah, he's pissed. Anytime Robin Williams talks, he's pissed.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Hawk sucks.
Yeah, he does. He's shit.
I mean, I thought he was a pretty entertaining character, though. He was one that you just like to laugh at. Like you said, he was. You don't laugh with him, you laugh at him.
Right.
And like I said, we all know somebody like that. And it's
like Mike.
I thought it was humorous.
Right.
Because he clearly didn't catch half the stuff Robin Williams was saying to the movie.
Oh yeah,
He just
he'll
went right over his
sarcastically
head.
be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to listen to you," and he's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought."
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's like, Aaron Cronauer requests
Thank you.
permission for more clarification, sir.
Thank you for that criticism.
Yeah, that's really funny. So
constructive criticism.
Yeah, I just wrote down teaching profane English phrases.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Okay, so you're talking about now we're back in the
Back in the
class.
school, yeah, where he broke away from the
Curse class.
where he broke away from the standard,
like reading the book.
I'm gonna go get some apples at the market to
Right.
how you'd actually greet people on the streets of New York City.
Now he's teaching him how to like flip people off.
Yeah.
And what else is it?
Well, this is where he talks about like she spills soup on your new suit. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's pretty funny because the Vietnamese man's like, I do nothing.
Yeah.
He's just a nice guy.
Yeah. He's like, no, but you're really pissed. What do you do? I remain reticent.
Yeah. Now she's stabbing you and poking
That's
your
totally-
eyeballs out.
She's got
What do you
spoons
do?
in your eyes. Yeah.
I'm waiting to die.
I wait to die.
Everybody just dies laughing. Yeah.
They're funny. I'm
Really
telling you,
funny.
those people are really funny.
They kind of got confused on how somebody can be full of shit.
You step in crap and be full of shit. Like,
Yeah.
how is that possible? One of the old Vietnamese dudes is like, I saw it in a French film. They're funny.
That is funny.
They're funny.
I like it. It probably is one of the better parts of the movie.
Yeah.
All that class stuff. We see where, oh gosh, what is it? He has a date with the sister.
The brother
And
set
the
up a date.
family.
So
Yeah.
Tuan set up a date with Trin
Yeah.
for AC.
Right. But he doesn't know it, but the entire family's going.
12 people.
Yeah. Awkward, man.
Yeah. And she explains to him pretty quick that like that's tradition there. Families come to like beat the guy and spend time with the guy to see if he's like worth it.
Chaperone.
Right.
Yeah.
This is to tell him to fuck off real quick, you know. And of course he's being nice about it. He's buying him. He sees the, you know, like he's buying him shirts. And what is it they said? He was like, it's 1/15 of a dollar.
Yeah,
or something like
what's 1/13 of a cent, 1/13 of a dollar amongst friends?
Yeah, like $1 for. He bought the entire family shirts for $1. Yeah. And so, what was it? Oh, he buys them all movie tickets.
They go see
watch that.
Beach Blanket Bingo.
I'd rather watch Bleach Blanket Bingo.
Beach
Blanket Bingo. Apparently, Mike has a thing for those ladies in those old beach movies. But he thinks
why would you put my news out there like that?
Oh, my bad.
God damn, bro.
No, those ladies are very.
Everybody's got their thing.
Very pretty ladies.
Those 60s, the 60 beach movie girls.
Yeah.
They were all natural women, man.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. They weren't like super skinny, you know. They had a figure to them and stuff, you know. So, yeah. They're good-looking gals. I'm not gonna throw shade on that. We get the little news ticker. They're sending 350 to 400,000 troops over to Vietnam. So we're ratcheting up those numbers. I think that actually supersedes the amount that we saw in Jarhead.
No.
How many were in that?
550,000.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a lot of motherfuckers. So I thought that it was gonna be like a big deal, but apparently, like AC actually mentions that Richard Nixon was in town. I thought he was gonna get his ass chewed over that. He really didn't. You know, I thought it might be like a security thing, but they didn't make a big deal about it.
Not too much, but
Hawk was chewing his ass later.
Yeah.
If I was Robin Williams, I would get so tired of having constant meetings with that stupid butter bar every day.
I think he enjoyed it. He just gave him an opportunity It gave him an opportunity to overtly make fun of him without him recognizing it.
The highest count I can find in Jarheads is 390,000.
Oh shit. Okay. So this is right up there with it.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Hauk orders Kronauer he gives him like this reel of tape, and he wants him to go over like the highlights from Nixon's speech after his broadcast. Yeah,
it was a Nixon interview.
Yeah, and he's like, I want you to go over this. He's like, I just did a 4-hour show, and he's like, I don't give a fuck.
It's an order.
Yeah.
No lunch.
Right. So he cobbles together. He like edits all this audio footage together. Slaps the thing on the deal, hits play, and then goes and eats lunch. And it's really funny.
I love the testicle jokes.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what all he said.
Richard Nixon talking about his testicles.
Yeah, and his sex life.
Well, and it was funny because he's actually talking about the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
Right.
Saying that they're soft and weak and all that stuff. But Kronauer edits it in to make it, he says, well, tell us about your testicles.
Yeah. He's like, tell us about your sex life. He's talking about it's unimpressive, you know.
Uneventful. Nothing to speak of.
Right. Yeah. It's really funny stuff. And of course, everybody's hearing this and dying except for like Sergeant Major and the Lieutenant Hauk.
I picture myself like as a soldier, we're on the cop, we're like downloading the ammo truck, you know, like doing shitty detail work, but this is going on in the background.
Right.
It would make it so much better.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's why Robin Williams himself, not the AC character, but I think that's why he did a lot of USO shit.
And I think at this time they had referenced that he was getting more fan mail than
he'd
already started to gather more
fan mail in the AFN.
Yeah, and he was getting more fan mail and radio calls, or phone calls about him than anybody else so far.
Right,
and they kind of alluded to that a little bit.
So they never say that this is a true story, but I hope there was someone like this.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I really do hope there was somebody out there somewhere who just cared about the soldiers and the airmen and the Marines and the sailors. It was just trying
play
to
music they wanted to hear.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit what the sergeant major was saying. He just wanted to make people happy.
Dude, if the general's got your back, then you're good too. You know? Yeah, he can make shit happen. So, he goes through. Lieutenant Hauk wants the general to fire Kronauer. And he's like, I'm not going to fire him. I love that dude. Basically is the whole resolution of that. But then the sergeant major tells Lieutenant Houck, he's like, this ain't over by a long shot, you know. And so this is where we get, we see where Cronauer's in the bar drinking.
Was it Jimmy's?
Yeah.
He's eating some lunch, drinking a beer.
And that's whenever Tuan walks in, he's like, hey, my sister wants to see you, like, right now. And he's like, well, I got a thing at 4. He's like, no, she wants to see you right now. If you don't do it now, you're not going to have a chance to. He goes outside, boom, Jimmy's goes up in flames.
Yeah, Jimmy's, there's a bomb in Jimmy's.
Yeah. At this point, I saw that, and I was like, well, I know what Tuan is. I know the entire story with that dude, you know.
Yeah.
There was no surprise twist in there for me at all.
This is the first time you'd watched the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of broadcast that shit, but...
I didn't think much about it. I didn't catch it right away at that point, but I wasn't thinking
well, my thing
along that line at that point.
My thing, I guess, was that Tuan, the dude that he's got like one American friend, he comes in and tells him to hey, go outside, and then the whole thing goes up. I was like, that's obvious to me, but the bar explosion, Cronauer's helping people that are injured.
And dead.
A couple people die, yeah.
3 injured, 2 dead.
Mm-hmm. And he goes back to the radio station and he wants to report on the explosion, and that's whenever the sergeant major's like, don't do that. And he's like, you can't talk about it. And he's like, well, I mean, the shit went down. I'm supposed to report the news, but...
Well, he still literally has blood on him from the event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's pretty emotionally distraught.
Just happened, yeah.
So he decides to lock himself into the broadcast room. Classic move.
Yep.
And you can tell immediately, like, he's off his game. Like, he tries to do his regular stuff, but it's just not there.
It's not funny. And he's like, the Queen of England, you know, and then he'll do, like, a thing, and it's not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just off his game.
He's shook up, yeah.
So then he unofficially tells the unofficial news of unofficially the event that just unofficially happened.
Right.
And Sergeant Major's pissed.
Yeah. Open this door. Yeah.
I didn't think that happened until the second time when he was actually in the Jeep.
No,
this happens right after the explosion.
I remember. I know the part you're talking about. I'm just getting the two confused because he did the same thing later.
No, he didn't.
No. That's why you gotta take notes, Jared.
he didn't report on the Jeep?
No, he got shit canned.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because it was a pass.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Now we had to spoil the movie because you didn't take notes.
That's all right. It's just kind of jumbled.
That's all good.
Had a long day, and that was late last
Jared
night.
was really high too.
Oh yeah.
He smokes a lot of meth.
Yeah, all the time. He's smoking it right now.
I would be a lot more.
If he would just lay off the fucking crack pipe, he would be such a more productive person.
He doesn't sound like a crackhead to you?
Yeah, I wouldn't be so hyper all the
time. Anyway, Sergeant Major winds up getting in and kills the broadcast.
Yeah, shuts us down.
Yeah. And then the general winds up suspending Cronauer, and Houck takes over the broadcast. The Cronauer, as they call it. And it is really bad.
I love, like, before he get ready to start his first episode or broadcast, like, all the soldiers that work in the network with them, they're like, don't do it, sir.
Don't try
to be funny, sir. You're not funny. It's going to be really bad. Do not do it, sir.
Right.
Like, they're trying to be respectful, but at the same time, they're, like, trying to give him some real advice.
You're going to choke.
Like, this is not going to work out well.
I don't know. I see it as nowadays, especially with this kind of group, we'd probably be like, go for it.
Yeah.
So we want to see this train wreck.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would love it, especially like a dickhead like that.
Yeah.
Like, if he's a nice dude, I would be like, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
But if it's a cocksucker up there, I'd be like, go, do it. Have fun. You know?
Yeah, have fun.
You're hilarious.
Yes.
You know?
Mom's over Baghdad. Here we go.
Right. He does a stupid impression of like a French dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a fucking
Oh yeah, the stupid like a clown.
Slapstick type.
Yeah. I love that whole thing at the beginning. He's like, you should do more like Keystone Cops. He's like, that's slapstick. You can't do slapstick over the radio.
You can't do a fall gag on the radio.
Yeah. He's like, I think that's true, sir. You can't do a fall gag on the radio. But after his stupid transmission was over, he's like, I think somebody owes me an apology.
Yeah. He thought he nailed it.
Right. Aces, dude. That was great. Yeah.
I'd have still given him 2
Did
thumbs
awesome.
up.
Oh, look, you're back on.
It'd have been so not funny. It'd have been funny.
Oh yeah,
If you were
exactly
in
how it
there.
played out in the movie.
Yeah. His polka was pretty good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's playing that
polka
horrible
music.
polka music.
Dude, the thing with polka is it's just not represented properly, you know?
Yeah.
Mike's the polka advocate here.
Chicken polka is one of the best of all time.
It's true. You should check out fucking Mike's iPhone. Like it has all sorts of polka shit on it.
iTunes?
Yeah.
Polka, polka, polka.
Right.
Sang by the. Damn it. I can't remember the name of that.
Is that Home Alone reference?
Yeah.
Fucking John Candy.
Yeah, John Candy's band. I couldn't remember what the name of it was.
Oh man, that's so
Sounds
dumb.
like Planes, Trains, and
Yeah, we
Automobiles.
had a couple hits back in the late 70s.
The Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
No, Home Alone.
No, in Home Alone when he's gonna get the ride on that budget truck.
The mom.
Yeah.
They're giving the mom a ride.
Kinda-
Yeah, I'm getting them confused again. That's that. The Plane, Trains,
Planes, Trains, and
Automobiles.
Automobiles is great.
It was a great movie, but you're right. It was
like
a good one too.
One Thanksgiving movie there is.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good one.
Anyway, way off track.
Yeah, I do that.
You can't talk about the movie. You can talk about.
Now I
John
got to talk
Candy.
about everything else. I'm good at sidetracking.
That's all right. I like it. So Cronauer goes to visit Tawan and Tren's family at their place, their home.
Yeah, he goes to their
Their
village.
little village.
Yeah.
I wrote kid peeing on chickens.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I didn't see a kid peeing on
There was
chickens.
2 or 3 naked little
There's
kids
like
swimming around, and they showed
this kid
them.
goes take a leak and there's like chickens right
But
there.
he was like eating or drinking something at the same time, and he was peeing, and there was a little there's a rooster there.
yeah,
and
the
then
chickens are just standing there.
the rooster crowed, but it never did open its beak. It never did. It didn't actually crow in the show, but they did the sound effect.
Like they added it in post
I
or whatever.
grew up around chickens, and so that stuck out to me.
Yeah, no, you can tell like visually when a rooster crows.
Mhm. Yeah, that one didn't.
And the guy who calls himself the rooster isn't going to tolerate fake rooster
I
crowing.
know, right? You know, just you can't pull that off.
Right.
Almost ruined the movie for me.
Once again, Jerry would rather talk about chickens than this movie.
So far, the only interest Jared's had in this movie is naked boys and
Oh, yeah.
roosters.
And John Candy.
Oh, yeah. Who's not in the movie.
Yeah.
He was in Stripes.
Well, you can't forget Ernest.
And Ernest.
And How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother.
You guys are getting a really good idea of who Jared really is.
Right. This is,
Well,
this
except,
is
you know,
really
my-
laying it out there.
Other than having 3 boys, and it's really not my interest. But other than that, yeah, the rest of it, that's
Yeah.
pretty accurate.
We're going to rename this episode Getting to Know Jared.
Getting
Yeah.
to know Jared. Getting a little taste of what goes on in Jared's head.
And you know, don't stop listening to this because of me. You know, listen next week. They'll be back to their entertaining, delightful selves, I'm sure.
I think people like it when we deviate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm good with all this.
Well,
I enjoy making and teasing you, so
I'm
you know.
good at
I
all
love
over
it.
the place.
I can't get enough of it.
Well, the good thing about teasing me is it doesn't. I just,
You don't care.
Well, you're a big easy target.
And even if I did, I would never show it. So it's
Yeah,
just
it's
it's one
whatever.
of those things. Most of the time, I'll tease myself with you.
There you go. Trent says she can't be friends with Cronauer.
Well,
Yeah. So whatever. They're sending more troops into Saigon.
yeah. And the listeners want Cronauer back.
Yeah. They start
Starting to
getting
pitch a fit.
tons and tons, duffel bags of fan mail and stuff demanding he comes back. And
What do they say about Hauk? That he sucked the balls of
oh,
the
they
dead?
said
He sucked the
several.
sweat off the sack of a dead man.
Yeah, there were several derogatory comments.
I love the fact that these
letters.
are like privates and NCOs or
Talking
sergeants,
about
like talking to a
lieutenants.
general, talking to a 1-star general, just quoting like profanity word for word out of the.
The general don't give a fuck either, though.
No, he's cool.
Yeah, I like the general.
Yeah, he's like a soldier's kind of general. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he cares about
Yeah.
the soldiers.
So yeah, I wrote down everybody wants AC back. The general actually talks to Lieutenant Hauk and tells him to reinstate Cronauer.
Right.
And then Cronauer doesn't want to go back on. There's too much censorship.
Well, I think he's still suffering from the events.
Well, and then and as this kept building up, you would see more on the ticker as the movie went on, more of the news that was getting red X'd.
Right.
You know, and so that kind of led up to he still wasn't getting a report.
Right.
What he thought he should be and what the soldiers needed to hear, but
I agree.
and it kept building up to that.
Yeah.
You know, you'd see a little more and more of the Tiggers throughout as it built.
Right.
The village visit was all right. It wasn't a bad scene. The little love story in there really didn't.
It didn't. There's no resolution. To
Yeah,
it, or anything.
it kind of was like, okay.
That's the point. I think part of that though was just to basically have a backdrop for them showing kind of what the village would look like, that sort of thing, you know. And they had to have a reason for him to go out there, pretty much. So.
No, and then it gave, you know, him a reason to be friends with
Tron.
brother.
Tron.
Yeah.
Tron.
So Cronauer doesn't want to go back, and Garlic's fucking pissed about it.
Yeah.
It's the first time in the movie we see Garlic like stand up to anybody.
Yeah.
It's
kind of a doormat.
Yeah, it's to AC, and he basically, you know, the soldiers want you back. You said you did this shit for the soldiers.
And that led to one of the better scenes I thought in the movie.
Yes.
In that traffic circle.
I love
all
scene.
the soldiers around him. And you could tell he's really good, and that's where Robin Williams is good as it. You look at him and you think he's sad, but with what he's saying, his comedy is what. You know, he looked sad while he was doing that. But
right.
Yeah, I called it the Traffic Jam live show.
Yeah. He enjoyed doing it for those soldiers.
Yeah.
What Jared's talking about is basically Garlic takes Cronauer back to base, and there's a traffic jam. One of the locals' cars broke down, and a bunch of soldiers that are on their way to go fight.
Like LTVs and shit,
Yeah, they're in the back of these trucks, and
the old 5 tons. For
5 tons.
For us old people.
Yeah, and Garlic pulls up and is like, "Hey, everybody, look who I have! It's Cronauer." Cronauer does not want to do this.
Right.
He's pretty pissed off about it. But when the soldiers start saying like, "Hey, man, come on," you know,
He's
do
like,
something.
I don't think that's not Cronauer. And he's like, prove it. And he does the Good Morning Vietnam shit.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Then he gets caught in the moment of entertaining them, you know, asking them names, making some cracks on them. And
This is probably my favorite scene in the
It's
movie.
probably the best scene in the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you watch the way he acts his emotions through in this film, or in this scene. Like, you see him go from, like, down and depressed, and when he's watching these soldiers react to, like, what he's saying.
Right.
Like, he starts to light up a little bit, and he starts to understand, like, the importance of what he does.
Right. But also, I got a whole other layer in there from Robin Williams, where he's talking to these guys, because every so often he'll be talking to them, and he's like, "Hey, where are you from?" You know, Cleveland. He's like, "Oh, so Vietnam's not that different from, you know, whatever." And he's like, you know, every so often he'd throw in like, "Hey, you be safe out there," you know, and stuff like that. And so I kind of got from his performance in this that he was entertaining these guys, but he knew that there is a very strong likelihood that not all these dudes are going to come back, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so, to me, I think that there's a lot of different emotions that he's going through.
Yeah, by the end, he's, like, emotionally, I don't know what emotion to put to it, but he's upset.
I don't know. He's definitely somber.
Yeah.
And he's basically, it makes him feel better, though, that he can help these guys take their mind off of the shit that they're about to go through, you know. And so, I think it's a great scene. And
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Yeah, I like O'Connell.
O'Connell or O'Malley?
It was.
Is it O'Malley?
Wait, I don't know. It was O'Malley. Yeah.
O'Malley.
Yeah, O'Malley. Yeah.
See, I paid attention.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't even write it down.
No, I didn't need to.
Razor sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jared's on his game today.
Yeah, we've proven that.
Yeah. So anyway, he decides he's gonna hop back on the radio, and he actually dedicates a song for O'Malley. And this is the part I was talking about where it gets into a little bit more of the political stuff, because he plays "A Wonderful World" by Louis Armstrong.
Great
Yeah,
song.
it's a good song.
Great song.
I do the Louis Armstrong impression for my wife when we hear this song on the radio. She's like, "Will you knock it off?" She's like, "I can't even take this shit serious."
I would like to hear it.
We'll do it off air.
No, let's go.
I see skies are blue.
That's pretty good.
Oh shit, that's funny.
My day is complete.
This is the second time I'm saying on this show. Oh man, your turn's next, Mike. But
they play a really crazy like montage in the background.
Fucked up shit.
Yeah, napalm and villages.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that that's probably
like actual footage.
Well, not even that. That's his little buddy's village.
Oh,
that they're
Tron?
showing. Because remember,
Tron.
Yeah, because later on he was like, oh, you know, my village got, and everybody, you know, that's why he was doing what he was doing.
Could be.
Maybe.
Well, he'd already bombed out the bar before that. But spoiler alert.
But I think that some of that
Kind of a crossover.
tied together, yeah. Because they did that a few times, cut scenes to something blowing up.
Yeah.
Well, they were showing you the contrast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the GIs were, you know, enjoying his radio broadcast,
Right.
while at the same time, like, terrible things were happening.
And there's
And
playing
he couldn't-
What a Wonderful World.
And it was coming across a ticker, but he couldn't say it.
Right.
So
And they're showing, you know, like military personnel like stiff arming women, you know, and beating people and shooting motherfuckers, you know, and just different stuff.
So in this movie, we actually even see less action than we do in Jarheads. Like,
Yeah,
there's
there's-
no action scenes in this film
really.
at all, but they comment on it
Right.
very subtly throughout the film. You know, through the ticker tapes, through the montages while he's on the radio.
I don't even think it really, though, is like beating you over the head with it, even at this, though.
No, they're just reminding
Just
you,
giving you
like,
a
this is
little
what's
taste.
going on.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. Meanwhile,
Right. Yeah.
but the CSM, the Command Sergeant Major, has had enough of his shit,
Right.
and he decides he's gonna fucking send him on a road trip.
well, there was some requests for him to do
Interviews.
to do
with guys in the
interviews,
field.
yeah, to go out and do some stuff.
But he calls and finds the most dangerous place
yeah,
to send
he
him.
took advantage. You know, he took that opportunity to be like, all right, yeah.
You can go out here
Let
and get your ass blown off.
let me find you somewhere that.
But he purposely was seeking out a
He
place
did.
that he
There's
would
a
die.
difference between not liking somebody and killing them. you know?
Yeah. No,
He's a soldier under
it was
command.
it was a
He's-
dick
yeah.
move. I'm not saying that it was a good move. It was definitely a dick move, but you know that was his opportunity to be like
To get rid of
"All
this dude."
If I can't get him off the air, I just get him killed.
That's pretty drastic,
That's
man.
pretty hardcore shit.
Yeah.
You know, evidently that Sergeant Major was dealing with some serious
Shit. Yeah.
issues and
Yeah. So, Cronauer's trying to get Garlic to do like his own radio thing. Like they're
Yeah.
in the Jeep just bullshitting.
Right.
And they hit an IED.
Yeah. Yep.
well, that was after he got his pass, and then he
Right.
was on his way to this base that was on a route that was completely overran and under Viet Cong's control.
Yeah.
At that
They don't
point.
make it far at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And then basically it shows where I wrote down Charlie finds a Jeep. I was looking for that guy named Charlie.
I never met nobody here named Charlie. And they're all Watang or blah blah.
Yeah. He's talking about
Charlie-
You can't find a North
Yeah.
Vietnamese named Charlie.
Yeah, it's hard to find Charlie.
That's the MI guy.
Yeah.
Military intelligence dude.
Right.
Doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Pretty great. So anyway, AC or Cronauer and Garlic, they're gone. They're not in the Jeep anymore. Everybody notices that Cronauer is not in class. He's not at work. He was supposed to be on the air. He's not there. And so that's whenever Tuan steals an egg truck.
Well, he runs to the base
Yeah.
and then finds out where he was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And that's where I noticed that little dude is fast.
Yeah, he's fast.
He runs a lot.
He took off running, and I was like, that's pretty quick. And that'll come up later, too.
Yeah, it does. At this point, Jared, did you suspect that he was working with the North Vietnamese?
I wasn't really connecting that dot at that point. I just wasn't thinking it that way.
Yeah.
Normally, I think it was just I was just enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I don't say it. Just kind of tired. It was for a movie that long ago. It was actually a pretty long movie.
It was 2 hours.
2 hours. That's a long movie. You know, most movies last an hour, 30 minutes.
Everybody
back
always
then.
says that. Not it.
Movies now are starting to become 2.5, 3
Yeah.
hours. Now they're getting really long, but
Like
2 hours.
epics.
And it was 2 hours. Not that it was terrible. It was a great movie, but it was kind of a slow
I think
progression.
that the pacing had some issues.
Yeah,
in
slow
this movie.
progression.
Yeah.
You could have just. I could have just watched him do a 2-hour radio broadcast.
I agree.
Just straight.
I agree.
You know, but
Just watching Robin
that
Williams
was.
stand up.
Now I lost my train of thought. So yeah, there it goes.
So moving on.
That was my thing though, is that like with Tuan, because he's a civilian that kind of knew that this whole like this pathway, this road was a no-go, and so I was like, obviously he knows something.
Well, when he took
He's up
off
to some
that way,
shit.
now that gets me back. Now I'm back where I was
There you
at. Well, and that goes to show, you know, all of us have been in the military, and we get training on that kind of stuff all the time.
Right.
You know, that's how they target people, and that's how they'll find you, and they earn your trust, and they do that kind of stuff. But with the you know, the amount of driving I do back, sometimes I'm just not all there when I'm doing something later in the evening.
Oh, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but so I really wasn't connecting the dots. I'm usually pretty good at that, but it just wasn't connect. I just wasn't seeing him as a bad guy.
Right.
You know, he's a likable little.
Well, when they revealed it, I mean, I think they did kind of broadcast it, but it really wasn't what the movie was about.
No, it wasn't.
Point,
it wasn't at all.
So let's get there.
Yeah. So Tuan steals an egg truck and he finds Cronauer.
Right.
Which I'm surprised that.
Like right off the bat, he finds him.
Well, I mean, he yelled, and once he said something, he recognized. But how
if
does a whole squad of
a
VC not find 2 injured dudes?
Yeah.
And I don't think it took them that long to get to the truck.
No.
After that one was kind of a little bit unrealistic. I mean,
I agree.
Well, and their ride arrives right away.
I did like.
So they go out to Tuan's van. They don't start, but there's a chopper coming right over the head.
Yeah, they walk. Yeah, they walk a little ways through the.
So whether Tuan had showed up or not, they still probably would have been fine.
Maybe because they walked in a circle, and I liked his little commentary of, you can't see shit. You know, how do you fight in this?
Right.
You know, it's
like
sucks.
with Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tuan and Garlic and Cronauer all get out.
And get on the helicopter.
Yeah. Sergeant Major chews his ass.
Yeah. And lets him know that Tuan is VC.
Well, that's when he knew he was gonna ring him up. And,
his name is Fundak To.
Fundak To, yeah.
In the VC, and he's discharging him. He's Cronauer. He's kicking him out of the Army or the Air Force.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a blemish once the media gets a hold of it.
Yeah, and that's when they revealed that, you know, how do you think you got pulled out at just the right time? And
right.
How do you think he got into this enemy-controlled area to get you, and you didn't get touched once he was, you know, all that stuff. And then you're kind of like, oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
He was a likable little guy.
And the general who loves AC, his hands are tied at this point.
Yeah, he can't cover that.
Because the general's gone to bat for him.
Yeah.
But he's like, there ain't shit I can do for you, really.
Yeah.
He offers him an honorable discharge.
If he plays ball.
Yeah.
And out of town in like 24 hours.
Yeah. If he acts like a dickhead, then that's not going to happen. That offer's off the table. And then the Sergeant Major gets transferred to Guam.
Yep. Well, after, he gets chewed out. He tells Cronauer he's kicking him out of the Air Force with honorable discharge, whatever, and Cronauer is leaving Sergeant Major's office, but he has to say something.
Of course.
So he turns around and tells him that he is...
So he's never seen a white man in more need of a blowjob.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good line.
Even the general laughs about it, too.
Well, the general hears it, and when the Sergeant Major comes out to, like, kick Cronauer's ass, the general stops him and lets him know, politely, he's being transferred to Guam.
Right. He said, I couldn't figure out what was up with you. He's like, I just think you're mean.
Yeah, you're just a mean person.
Yeah. And then he laughs about the blowjob thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty great. The Cronauer decides that he wants to warn Tuan that he's in danger. The army gets a hold of him, and they're going to execute his ass.
I think it's more trying to find out if it was true, and you know, and just confront him on whether or not
very well be too.
It was. I don't necessarily know if he really wanted to warn him, other than just for his own personal, like, no shit, there's no way.
Well, I think it's all of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's still his friend, and he did, in his eyes, save his life
twice.
Yeah,
right.
But then that's when he has to go talk to the sister for the last time. Like, tell me where he's at. He's in trouble.
Yeah.
If you want to have a brother, you'll let me know.
Right.
So she does.
Right. There's a big old foot chase taking place.
And that's where it comes back into that little dude's fast.
Dude's fast.
And I don't say Robin Williams is slow, but how he ever caught him, I ever stayed with him. That's just movie magic, because that dude would have dusted him. Mm-hmm. But he would have never, in those streets and that town, he wouldn't have, as soon as he got around the corner, he would have never found that dude again.
And I've seen Robin Williams run in other movies.
And that's when he was in his OD Greens.
Yeah.
And you just go running through
alleyways.
Yeah. And you've already got a target on your back as an American anyways there, and things are starting to escalate. That is a disaster.
And you know that there's VC that are like hanging out in town and shit.
You're going to their hangout.
Yeah.
You know that he's VC. You're going to his VC hangout.
You're chasing him to his little, Well, no, we saw him. Yeah, he went to that little bad spot.
Yeah.
Then he saw him and he said something, and that's when the dude ran.
Yeah.
And so he was already in the bad area.
Right. Yeah.
He's just strutting around in his uniform.
Yeah.
So that's where I was kind of like, that's just asking to be kidnapped and tortured and executed. But
what I didn't get was, so he basically, his sister points out where Tawan is at, and so he sees him and he's like, Fondacto! And the guy's like, oh shit, he knows who I am, and he bolts. I would have just walked up to him and been like, yo, Tawan, let me talk to you real quick. And then been like, yo, are you VC, dude? But instead he yells his name out. The guy's on, his shields are up and he takes off running,
Well, Cronauer's already seen evidence. The Sergeant Major showed him pictures and shit.
But,
so he already knows that this dude is VC.
Right, but Tawan doesn't know that he knows.
Yeah, I know, but he's pissed.
Yeah.
So instead of walking up trying to play it cool, he's just like, hey, I know your real name, asshole.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah. And,
that's when the epic foot chase started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, how he caught him and stayed with him. Again, that's movie magic.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
So Hollywood shit right there.
Because once he'd have been rolled up.
So Tawan does lose him.
Right.
But, so Cronauer just starts yelling out, why did you do this?
Yeah.
How could you do this?
Kind of in a little courtyard area. And
Yeah.
calls him out. He knows he's there, but he didn't quite
Didn't know where he
exactly.
was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tawan stands up and he's really emotional and my mom's dead, my neighbor's dead, his wife's dead, my brother's dead.
and my village is gone.
Everybody's dead. They've all been killed by Americans. That's why I do this.
Mm-hmm. And that's really, there's no resolution after that. He just takes off.
That's it.
Yeah, he kind of walks off again,
Yeah.
unscathed, untouched.
Robin Williams is
Pretty, good movie
fair
magic.
enough. I can't say I blame you.
Yeah, thanks for not killing me.
Right. And so he goes through. He's supposed to get a ride to the airport with Garlic, but
And two MPs.
Yeah. And because they're gonna bust his ass if he doesn't get on that airport.
Yeah, if he variates from their route, but he talks them into it, of course, because he's a cool guy and they like him.
He decides to stop at the school where he's teaching English and teach him how to play baseball.
Baseball game.
Yeah.
With some melons.
Whatever those things are.
It was a cool little movie montage with some melons and doing some sliding and hitting.
Yeah.
Some dude got hit in the face with a melon and it was funny. And
it's the oldest joke ever, but I love where the little old lady bats and she hits the ball. He's like, run home. She starts shuffling back to the house.
She literally runs home.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. But yeah, he does all that, and then Trin talks to him and basically says her goodbyes.
Yeah, she said, I'm sorry things didn't work out the way you wanted it to.
Different
You're
place,
a good person.
different time,
Yeah, you're a good person, but, it just would never work for us.
Different worlds.
So it's a movie where the guy never gets the girl.
Right. Basically, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, it does. You don't see that in movies very often at all. He doesn't get the girl at all. He doesn't have one magic night.
No.
He doesn't have the happily ever after. It does not work at all.
Because sometimes in movies you'll see him get the girl and then he dies or she dies.
Yeah.
They never connect in this movie,
Yep.
That's it. She can we don't even learn her name. That's how much he doesn't get the girl.
Yeah. And they never kiss. Nothing.
Right. No.
He got a good handshake though at the end.
Yeah, good old handshake. That's very amicable, Jared.
It was a good way to part.
And,
how do you want to be broken up with? Handshake. Going your way.
Jared comes back from deployment, gets a handshake. He's good.
I'd rather take it Charlene's way.
You're gonna get that 24 hours of butt sex.
Yeah. All the sex. Right. And good food.
Any nasty thing you can imagine. Yeah.
See, if you knew you were gonna get broke up with too, you could ask for nastier things.
That is true.
Fuck it.
See, that's the only downside though.
If you knew, but in her case,
no, you don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. Because you're not thinking I'm just getting a lot of sex.
Because then I'd be like, what the fuck happened? Now she's willing to do all this stuff she wasn't doing before? Who's dick
she's been learning some shit.
Who's taught her this kind of stuff?
Right.
What's up with this?
Jody.
Jody, that's who taught her.
Right? Jody's a dick.
So Cronauer, just before he gets on the plane, hands a tape to Garlic and says, you might get in trouble if you play this, but play it for me.
Yeah.
And he gets on the plane and leaves.
Yep.
Garlic goes back to the radio station, says, good morning, Vietnam.
Finds a little courage.
And plays the tape. And it's Cronauer saying, goodbye, Vietnam.
Yeah. And he goes off on his shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good radio thing. But then he gets on the plane and
then he leaves. It's the
it's
end of the
gone.
movie. Yeah.
Then roll
Kinda
credit.
weird. Yeah.
Roll credit.
What was your take on it, either one of you?
That was a good movie. It was entertaining. As Robin Williams doing Robin Williams, like we said earlier, I don't think you can script that. You just got to tell him what his character is and let him roll with it.
Right. I'm sure he makes the character a lot too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. I don't know. For being a 30-year-old movie, it's hard to get into an old movie nowadays especially if you haven't seen it. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Dude, I love Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So this was really enjoyable for me. I'm with Jared in the fact that I could have watched a 2-hour radio show with him and been really excited about it. I found myself thinking about Aladdin.
Yeah.
I found myself getting sad because he's gone and the way he left. Like, monster Robin Williams fan. So, like, watching this for me was really enjoyable. I found myself throughout when he's doing his thing, like, I would just stop taking notes and just watch.
Just enjoy it. Yeah.
Just enjoy
Take it in. You bet.
I knew there was no way I was going to get it right.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm just going to enjoy this part.
That's what me and Mike were saying. Like, I just wrote down, like, Robin Williams does his thing. Because how are you going to, like, try to duplicate Robin Williams? I'm going to sit here on a podcast and fucking start whipping shit out like him.
Like, I could say, like, a line, like, we just call them women in comfortable shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is funny on a standalone, but it's not as good when he does it.
He does it better.
Yeah.
What is it, Ike?
You're not allowed to say that word.
Yeah. It's funny, though. I mean, it was a good little...
It's funny. He does like the low-pitched growly voice.
But I would think...
Get away from there.
I would think after 30 shows, though, I don't think your listeners are too overly sensitive.
I don't think
so. A lot of the stuff you guys say, I don't...
Yeah, both of them are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's funny. Look at Robin Williams over here.
Ew.
Oh.
I think that without Robin Williams, this movie would have fallen on its face hard, as I mentioned before.
It probably wouldn't have been made.
Right, yeah.
It couldn't have happened. It wouldn't have made it off the floor.
If you're a writer that wrote this movie, this got to be the easiest movie ever to write, because you're just like, Robin, do your thing. Like, just take off.
Yeah. You would just write broadcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And let him do everything.
Yeah. If you cut like all the radio transmission stuff out of this movie, you could probably sum it up in about 45 minutes, though.
Way faster than that.
Yeah.
Probably like 3 words.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good.
Right. My take on it is, as far as from a Robin Williams like vehicle, it's pretty good. I think the pacing has some problems because I find myself kind of like you guys. Whenever he gets to like doing his broadcast thing, I'm like, I just want to watch this, and then he'll like go to the Vietnamese village. I'm like, I really don't care. I mean, the kid's peeing on chickens, and that's kind of cool, but I just want to watch this guy talking to Mike. So. But all in all, as far as from enjoying Robin Williams, it's good. The rest of it, story and all that, it's fine. But Robin Williams definitely like made this for me. So
yeah, and it probably would have been hard to find better guys to play the lieutenant and Garlic.
I agree.
I thought they did.
Forrest Whitaker was great.
Good.
Dude, he had this really uncomfortable like giggle a lot of times throughout the movie. That's really funny.
Yeah. One thing I really like though is watching them, because that Robin Williams is improvising this whole shit.
Yeah.
And watching all the other guys in the back that are like sitting in the radio station with him, just dying laughing over this shit that he's talking about. I love it, dude.
Yeah, you would feel like it's not that hard for them to do that because they're laughing genuinely.
Right. Yeah.
They do think he's funny. They might be a little extra in their like mannerisms, but they're actually laughing at what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty easy to say that all three of us agreed that Robin Williams is fantastic in this film.
Yes.
The movie on its own, it's a good movie, but Robin Williams is amazing in this. He doesn't disappoint, that's for sure.
Right.
I can't think of a bad movie I've seen with him in it.
Oh, I can.
Which one?
RV comes to mind.
Ah, no, that's a good.
What Dreams May Come comes to mind. I thought that was shit.
I don't remember that one.
It's where he like goes to heaven. Like his wife had killed herself, so he goes to hell to like try to get her back and shit. It's really weird.
He was in a really dark movie.
He was in a couple.
1 Hour Photo.
No,
is that like the Best Dad, where he was #1 dad or something?
Dad. Wasn't that a show?
No.
Or was that a movie?
He was in a movie where he was the dad of a kid who committed suicide.
Oh shit!
And it was a dark, but that was towards the end of his career, like the 1 hour photo, and that's when he went from more comedic to kind of
He started
dark.
getting into the drama. And
Yeah,
shit.
darker stuff. But that was a good movie.
1 Hour Photo is a movie that
The World According to Garp.
Oh, I've never seen that. I heard it was good.
It's crazy dark.
Yeah.
That's still not the one I'm thinking of.
1 Hour Photo was a movie where I rented it from Blockbuster, and like while I was at Blockbuster, like returning the movie, they had it on DVD, and so while I was at Blockbuster returning 1 Hour Photo, they had it up on the display to buy it, and I was like, I'll just take it because I fucking love 1 Hour Photo. I think it's a great movie.
World's Greatest Dad.
World's Greatest Dad. I might have to check both of those out actually.
The World According to Garp is.
I've heard that's a crazy good movie.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched that when I was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah, because it had Robin Williams in it.
Of course.
I was like, I'm gonna watch this.
Aladdin.
Yeah. Oh, this doesn't go the way I thought it was gonna go.
I forgot about his roles in Night at the Museum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He plays
Roosevelt.
Custer?
Roosevelt.
All right, Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Custer.
Old Teddy Roosevelt.
So, what have you been watching, Jared?
What have I been watching?
Yeah.
As
Anything
far
good?
as
Porn. Some freaking.
You do the same joke every week.
I know, and it never gets old.
I still watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia a lot.
Yeah.
I watch How I Met Your Mother a lot. I watch The Office a lot. I watch The Tudors a lot, which is a Showtime show. Great.
Oh, I've heard The Tudors is
Great
awesome.
show. It's got the dude from Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
The sidekick.
The third one. Yeah.
He's the king.
And it's got like the hottest chick ever.
Henry Cavill is in it.
Oh, okay. I like Henry Cavill.
The timepiece, King Henry VIII. It's a great show. I'm trying to think.
I've watched The Tudors like many times though.
Oh yes, but minus big blockbusters, like I enjoyed Infinity Wars and the Justice League, and I'm just now getting into comic book type stuff because I didn't have comic books or really know a whole lot about that kind of stuff growing up, just because it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But now as I get older,
I mean, you can sit through a 2-hour movie.
I don't get to pick it apart because
Right.
I just like the entertainment. I don't give a shit about the backstories of all these characters because
Right.
in this comic book they went this way with it, and then I don't care if it lines up or not. It's just
funny
entertaining.
You say that because people will get pissed off. They're like, well, that X-Men movie didn't follow the comic book, like Days of Future Past. I'm like, I'm cool if you want to change some shit if you make a good movie.
Yeah.
But if you change shit and the movie sucks anyway, then I'm like, you should have just stuck with the comic book.
I'm kind of excited to see Deadpool now.
Yeah.
I watched Jumanji. That one was pretty good.
I thought it was alright.
The new one?
But it wasn't as good as Robin Williams' Jumanji.
See, I agree.
It was.
If you compare the two, you're gonna be disappointed. I think.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and I thought The Rock and Kevin Hart have great chemistry.
The best one in that movie is Jack Black.
Jack Black was funny.
I thought he stole that.
But
movie.
that his role made me think of made me think of the hot chick.
Oh, Rob
Schneider when he got stuck.
Nobody
in
watched that stupid ass movie.
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's what it made me think of. It was kind of where he got stuck in the girl's body,
Right.
and
Anna
the
Faris
dude's
and all
body.
that
Yeah. Yeah, I like Anna Faris. Most of what she's in, I like. I can't think of any just like movies off the top of my head that I've seen lately that just blown my mind.
You watch anything this past week, Mike?
I watched a movie called Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, it's a good movie.
It's finally made it to Netflix.
Yeah.
It's an old. Isn't that what?
It came out in 2015.
It's a couple 3 years old.
Is that's not the one with Trejo?
No.
That's Machete.
That's Machete. Yeah.
Okay.
This one's about they create like this
AI.
robot that's artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's supposed to study her, but he starts to develop a relationship with her. And all that shit.
It's really good.
Sounds like
it's good.
Westworld.
Kinda.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's the only movie I watched.
I'm more of a series.
I work all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I do.
I come home late, so by the time I get home, we're watching BS TV.
Right. Big Brother and then
Yeah.
all right, time for bed.
bed. Yeah. So,
I got
but
you.
Ex Machina is really good. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
I watched a couple of movies. One that I meant to mention a couple of weeks ago that I watched was Pandorum. If you've ever seen that, it's really good. And it's on Netflix. I won't say really good, but I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Because has Ben Foster. And they basically are in this ship to try to go to this planet that is supposed to have like Earth-like conditions or whatever, like an atmosphere that's breathable and water and all this other stuff. They've been in cryogenic sleep, and then all of a sudden Ben Foster like wakes up, and everything's like offline in the computer. They have no idea where in the fuck they are, and so it's all about him trying to figure out what's going on. But they've given like the crew members like this enzyme that's supposed to help them acclimate to the new planet. And all of a sudden, there's all these like creepy crawly creatures that are on the ship and stuff, and he's got to fight his way through while he's trying to like find survivors and figure out what the fuck happened, you know. So I like that movie.
Like Alien.
It borrowed some stuff from Alien, which, speaking of, I watched the assembly cut of Alien 3 this week, which is great because the original cut kind of left some people feeling disappointed, but they took a lot of original footage from the movie and cleaned it up and reinserted it back in, and it gives like a couple different like subplots, and it made me get a new appreciation for Alien 3. And then I watched that Marine documentary you were telling me about last night.
We the Marines?
Yeah. It's pretty good. I didn't realize Gene Hackman was a Marine.
You watched it last night?
I watched it this morning.
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty good. And I'll tell you, the Crucible looks awful. That boot camp.
I did it. Wasn't that hard?
Oh, it wasn't too bad.
No.
A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. Yeah, you watched that?
Yeah,
that's a good movie, dude.
That was a good movie.
Really, that's probably my favorite movie that's come out this year.
It was a really good movie.
And I watched something else, but I don't remember.
But I like John Krasinski, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm
surprised at how much I enjoyed him acting in that movie because I was just thinking he was fucking around.
He was great in Jarheads.
He directed it, didn't he?
Yeah, he directed it, and he's married to the girl that was his wife. What's her name? Emily Blunt.
Emily Hot, whatever
it
is.
I thought it was crazy where she's gonna give birth, but she couldn't like make any noise. I was like, oh my god, that is brutal.
We just stepped on the nail.
I haven't seen the movie, guys.
Oh man, you've got to watch that.
You just shut the fuck up. Tell me what we're watching this week.
I haven't. No, you can watch it. It just came out. It's not old enough to be on your list.
What are we watching this week?
You want to know?
Yes.
Well, Mike, me and you have discussed a lot of different war stuff. And I would first of all like to say thank you to all of our military personnel, past, present, and future. And you guys help make America awesome.
So you're part of that.
Well, I'm just saying everybody else too, you know.
Yeah.
So
don't forget yourself.
Yeah.
If you're a veteran, you're a bad motherfucker.
Less Coast Guard, then you suck.
Not cool.
No, just kidding. You Coast Guard guys are fine. We've discussed wars. We've discussed World War II. We've discussed Vietnam twice. We've discussed Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Next week, we're going to discuss the war between the living and the dead as we watch Blade.
Yeah!
That's a good movie.
That's such a good surprise.
Yeah, that's a good one, right?
Yeah!
So,
I like Underworld franchise better.
Underworld's pretty good.
Only because it's a super hot chick.
No, I just like the
Kate Beckinsale's.
I just
she
like
just like walk around on TV and I watch it.
Way rather stare at her than Wesley Snipes. But
Yeah.
I like Blade better. So
I like the day, if you had the good Daywalker, the
I'm a Daywalker.
Underworld was a better. I thought the overall better series,
yeah,
franchise of movies in the Blade Trinity and all that kind of.
Nobody asked your opinion, Jared.
You ain't even be here.
No one brought up Underworld. You did.
Right.
I like Underworld. You brought Blade. That made me think of
I like Underworld.
Blade is what we're watching.
I know. That's a good movie.
It just takes off on something else completely.
Yeah.
When we watch Underworld, we'll bring you back.
I just watched the newest one. I caught it on TV.
Are they still making that shit?
The last one, I think, but it was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
The Rise of the Lycans. They did like a.
That was like the second one.
Yeah, but they did it like them in order
Marathons?
on IFC. Yeah, it was pretty good.
They went crazy with that.
It was an enjoyable movie.
I think Rise of the Lycans might have been the third one, actually.
I like vampire movies and vampire stuff.
Yeah. But, so there's always that. If you want to contact us, you can do so by emailing us, cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can always check us out on Facebook. Our page is Casino Royale with cheese, all separate words. Twitter.
Have you done and this is just no, like
gonna talk
with,
about
with
like
the
corn
people.
dogs or
Well,
something.
no, while you're talking to the people that listen, have you done a request like from the people who listen? Have you done like, we'll do a movie that you guys suggest?
Obviously, Jared doesn't listen.
No.
Because at the end of every episode, Shane does what he's doing right now,
Right.
which you interrupted it in, and he talks about our email address, and if you have any requests, you can reach out to us
have
on
you
there.
done that though? Have you?
Well,
have you
we did
picked
put it
one?
out there on Facebook at one point. We didn't get too many nibbles. But if you guys have something that you want us to watch and talk about, then I'm open to it. I mean, if it's something really messed up, then
Should do your number one fan. Let her pick a movie.
Charlene?
Well, I want Charlene to pick a movie that she wants to sit and talk with
That's
us
what I'm saying.
about.
Yeah, and then let her call in or something. That'd be
Right.
cool.
Our Twitter, Casino Royale, WCH, all one word. Instagram, Casino Royale with or W Cheese, all one word. Our what else is there? Oh, you can find us on iTunes, Casino Royale, W Cheese, all one word. And our YouTube, our channel is Casino Royale, W Cheese, all one word. And I want to thank you for joining us today, Jared.
Thanks,
for having me.
bro.
Yeah, I had a good time talking about it.
I had more fun than I thought I would.
That's good.
I did.
I figured you would. We always talk about movies.
We always BS anyway, sitting around.
Yeah.
These guys drink way more than I do, just for their information.
I do.
Mike does.
I
Mike
drink
drinks more than everybody.
I
You still-
drink more than both of you guys combined.
We've sat around and we bullshit a lot amongst each other,
Right.
and I didn't know how well I would do because I'm a pretty boring person.
Who said you did well?
I didn't say I did. I said I didn't know how well I would do.
Man, you must have thought you would really suck because you did awful.
Well, I already know that I'm kind of monotone, kind of boring.
No,
kind
it's all good.
I'm not always the most entertaining person to listen to. I've got a whole lot of soldiers that'll tell you that, especially when I do classes and shit like that. Not that Army classes aren't inherently entertaining in themselves.
You and I have had these kind of conversations for 12 years,
Yeah,
Jared.
add a whole new dimension or level to the sometimes of boring. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I thought
it was
we
fun.
had fun.
I wouldn't have rather had anyone else here for our dirty 30.
Hell yeah. I had a good time, and I think this is going to be a good one. So,
Yeah.
take it for what it is.
Young Guns, but if you do Young Guns, I'm
We'll get
gonna
you.
be on
Yeah,
that.
when Young comes, you'll be back.
We also have Cook wants to come back into. We have to talk about the Lost Boys, so we're getting some.
Ooh.
It's a good pick.
It's a good vampire movie.
Yeah, it is.
Got some Kiefer Sutherland movies.
Hey,
coming up.
yeah, that's my boy right there.
Kiefer!
They have a whole slew of big names in that movie.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's in both.
And Young Guns, yeah,
He's in Young Guns and Lost Boys.
yeah. But again, thanks, buddy, for joining us. We look forward to having you back.
He was in Freeway too.
Oh, he
She was
in
really
Freeway.
creepy
Him
in
and Reese
Freeway.
Witherspoon.
And she's one of my favorites, but he was really creepy in Freeway.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. It's pretty good. Anyway, thanks again for joining us, Jared.
Thanks for having me.
And make sure you listen in next week whenever we check out Blade.
Yeah!
And that's going to be it from me, y'all.
Yeah, it was fun. Had a good time.
Awesome.
Good shit. All right.
All right.
Well, we'll see you next time.
Bye!
I'll be back.